Hello guys, Alan here and welcome to the channel. And this video begins a new series which we call the project template series inside of Revit. And I thought of actually putting this series out there so you guys can actually understand what happens with the project template we have inside of Revit. Alright, so before I get into the serious stuff that we are going to be looking at in the future in Revit, I think it's high time I actually showed you guys what this project template does and how it actually works, and how you can actually also create your own project template inside of the Revit software. All right, so we are going to get started here, and I'm going to be looking at a lot of stuff in here. But before we get started, if you're watching this video and you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, please do make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It's going to help me out a lot, and it's probably not going to cost you anything. So just make sure you subscribe to my channel. You can drop a comment in the comment section if you have anything that you want to add to this video or to this series. You can drop it in the comment section and I'll do what to respond to each and every one of you guys out there. All right, so before I get started in here, when it comes to project templates in Revit, is actually very useful, because if, let's say, you are working for a construction company and you people have like a way of working, or you people have a kind of style that you people usually use to put your works out there. All right, it's very important that if you are working with a company, or maybe if you're in an architectural firm, if you're an engineer, or if you are a student, actually it's very important that you create your own project template. That's what I think. That's my view actually. Is I think that is very useful if you create your own kind of template, because you know the kind of stuff that you usually design. All right, so you can create a template where you have all of your stuff already loaded up into that template, and then you can be using that template to actually achieve each and any kind of stuff that you want in there. All right, so I'm going to get started and show you guys how you can actually create your best and one and only template you can use for your own kind of projects. All right, so now when you get into this tab right here, you're going to notice in here we have new. All right, so I'm going to click on the new in there, and you're going to have in here, now Revit already gives you some default templates in there. You're going to notice Revit has all of these templates. All right, metric, structural, architectural, has all of these templates that itself has created and is offering to you, that you can actually use any of these templates. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how you can actually create your own template, which is very useful. All right, I think in the concrete structure series, I showed you guys how you can actually get into Revit. Doesn't just have only this template, it has some lot more of templates in there, which you are not going to see it in here. All right, what you can do is you can head into browse in there, and you notice in here we have all of those templates in there. Right, we have the residential, so you can create a template whereby you are going to use that template for residential buildings only. So it has only some kind of 2 bedrooms, it has a queen size bed and all of that. So you know that you have this template for this kind of projects, and you have, let's say, another template for a high-rise building. You have some templates for that as well, and let's say you have a template for your plumbing, you have, and all of those stuff in there. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how you can create your templates in this series. All right, so I'm going to cancel out of there, and what you can do is you can I'm going to be creating an architectural template for myself actually. So what you can do is you can actually select, you need to make sure you select an architectural template that Revit is going to give you by default. All right, since I'm creating an architectural template, if I was creating some sort of like a plumbing template, I'll go for the plumbing template that Revit is going to give me, and then I'll manipulate that to actually create my own template. So I'm going to select metric architectural template, and when you head into this section here, all right, you notice we always leave this on project. All right, now this time we are going to move this to project template. All right, so when you select this project template, what you are actually telling Revit is that you are actually creating a new template for yourself. All right, that is what it means. So Revit is going to recognize that you are not creating like a project, right? You are actually creating a template for yourself that you'll be using. All right, so that is what you are going to want to achieve in this video. All right, so I'm going to be creating a template, so I'm going to make sure I check project template on. Make sure you uncheck this and check the project template. And since I'm creating an architectural template for myself, I'm going to leave this at metric architectural template, and I'm going to click on OK in there, and Revit is going to load that in. All right, so this is perfect. Revit has loaded that in for us, and we have this in here. All right, so we can now begin to create our template inside of Revit. All right, so you notice with my Revit interface, I usually have the project browser on the right and my properties panel on the left. All right, so sometimes some of you guys are going to have your project browser somewhere around here. All right, so in your template, if you do not want to have that in there, you can actually move this to this side, kind of move it from here and bring it to this side, and keep this on this side. All right, and you can extend this if you want it huge enough. That is if you have enough screen space in there. All right, I have a very huge screen here, so I can just move this somewhere around here. Let me keep it a little bit realistic. Okay, this is fine. I think I like this one. This is perfect. So now I'm going to start off by creating my own template, and the first thing you'd want to set up in creating your template is your units. All right, you need to make sure you set up your units correctly. So some of you guys might want to start using your template in centimeters, millimeters. Some of you guys might even want it in meters. All right, I usually want mine in millimeters because where I come from and my part of the country, we usually work in the metric system, and we usually use the millimeters system. All right, so I'm going to set mine up to millimeters, and hopefully by default Revit is actually going to set this up in millimeters. All right, I'm going to show you guys how you can actually change the units in there. All right, so how you can actually change the units is you can type on UN on your keyboard, and you have in here project units. All right, so just hit on UN on your keyboard, and then you're going to have this in here. All right, or you can make sure you go into let's get into the annotate. Let's see, it should be in the manage tab, and when you head into the manage tab in there, you're going to notice in here we have project units. All right, so you can click on that project units in there, and we have this pop-up menu now. All right, so with the discipline, you can now select the type of discipline that you want to work in. All right, so if it was for plumbing, I'm definitely going to choose piping. If it's for electrical, I'm definitely going to go for the electrical. If it's for HVAC, which I'll be getting into in Revit, it's for structural. If it's common, you can leave it at common, or you can leave it at electrical, infrastructure, anything in there. But I'm creating an architectural template in there, so I'm going to leave this at common as it is in there. All right, so now when you head into the length tab in there, all right, so with the length, you notice it's set to millimeters. All right, so this is where you can actually change your units in there. So when you click on the drop down menu in there, you can set it to centimeters, decimeters, feet. Now you notice we can even set it up in the feet, even though I used the metric architecture template. All right, we can still set it up in feet, in inches, in meters, millimeters, the US survey feet, and all of that in there. So this depends on your code and where you're coming from, your country, the regulations in there. All right, so you can set up your units in there. So I'm going to leave mine at millimeters since I'm fine with that, and with the rounding up, you can actually change that in there, 0 decimal places or 1 decimal place if you want to do that. I'm going to leave mine at 0 decimal places, and with the unit symbol in there, you can actually add the symbol if you want to show that it's in millimeters or in meters. All right, so you notice in here we have mm, which stands for millimeters. So if I should change this to, let's say, meters, I come in here, you notice it's now m in there, so I can change my template to be in millimeters. So I want mine in millimeters, and I do not want the symbol to show, all right, because everyone in here reads that at millimeters, all right. So I think I'm fine with that. Suppress trailings to 0. I'm going to leave all of this on check, and I'm going to click on OK in there. So with the angle also, you can make sure you set that up if you want in there. So we have a little bit of stuff in there that you can change to. I'm going to leave mine at degrees, and I'm going to leave the degrees at 2 decimal places just as it is. And with the unit symbol, I'm definitely fine with the unit symbol in there. And I'm going to click on OK in there, and these are all just settings that you can set up. So with the currency, since I'm in Ghana and we do not have Ghana cedis in here, we don't have any Ghana cedis in here that we can actually use for this in there, all right. So I'm definitely going to want to use the dollar in there, all right. I'm definitely going to use the dollar in there. So with 2 decimal places, you can change the currency if you want, all right. You can change the currency if you want in there. And with the volume also, with cubic meters is fine by me. This is what we use in here, not cubic millimeters. We use the cubic meters in here, and I think I'm fine by this one. And yes, so with the mass density, I'm also fine with that. So you can change up all of these settings inside of Revit in here, all right. So you can come in here, and then you can make sure you change all of those settings in here, and you can use them if you want in there. So in here, I can change the symbol to, let's say, in here, in my part in here in Accra in Ghana, we usually use the dollar. Sometimes if you are preparing our bill of quantities and all of this stuff, we usually use the dollar. So I'm going to leave this with a dollar sign in there for the currency, and I think I'm fine with this, and I'm going to click on OK. So this is perfect, all right. So now we've been able to set up our units, which is perfect. Now the next thing I'm going to be showing you guys is how you can actually get rid of the system families, how you can actually get rid of some of the system families inside of Revit, all right. So if I should go into the architecture tab, come into components in here, you're going to notice in here Revit has by default some families in here for us, and it is giving us some decks and all of those stuff. And even if I should go into the wall tab, all right, I should click on this drop down menu in there. You're going to notice we have some items also in there, some walls that Revit itself has been able to give us. Now I want you guys to pay attention to the CW10250 100p, all right. I want you guys to pay attention to this type of wall in there, all right. So okay, so we have all of those families in there. Those are system families, all right. They come with the Revit software. We didn't load them into the software to be component families, all right. So they are system families, like the walls in there, the floor slabs. You know, you notice we have some floor slabs and all of those stuff also in Revit, all right. So now if I was creating a plumbing template and I'm not going to need walls and all of that in there, I'm going to show you guys how you can actually get rid of the system family, some of those system families inside of your template, all right. So this is my template that I'm creating, and I would want to get rid of, let's say I would want to get rid of this wall right here. I don't want it to be in my template. I don't want to see it in my template at all right. So I'm going to show you guys how you can actually do that in there, all right. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to navigate to the manage tab in there, and you're going to find it in here with the Purged Unused, all right. So I'm going to click on the Purged Unused in there, and we are going to have this in there, all right. So this covers every single thing you have inside of your Revit software, from dimension styles to elevation tags to floor slabs and all of those stuff you have inside of the Revit software, all right. So now I said I was going to get rid of that wall, all right. So if I should click on this drop down menu in there, you're going to notice in here we have basic wall in there, all right. And if I should check all of these in there, you notice we have all of those walls in here, all right. So just make sure you check none, and then I'm going to check only this one. So I want to remove this wall from my template, all right. So some of you guys would want to remove everything and just leave the generic ones if you want, but me, I'm just going to remove just this one, all right. So I'm going to get rid of this wall right there. So I'm going to click on OK in there, and perfect. So now Revit has gotten rid of that that wall in there for me, and I'm going to show you guys in a second. So I'm going to go back into the wall tab, click on that drop down menu in there, scroll all the way up, and you notice we do not have that wall again in there, all right. So that system family of that wall is disappeared, is out of my template. All right, so I don't have that template, I don't have that wall anymore in there. So that is how you can actually get rid of every single stuff you have inside of the Revit software. So you guys should take your time in there, and I'm going to end here and we're going to continue in the next part. I don't want to make my videos too long this time, so I'm going to continue in the next part. If you have anything you want to add to this section, you can drop it in the comments, in the comment section down below this video, and I'll do want to respond to each and every one of you guys out there. And guys, I've started a community where I'm teaching the Revit software to the highest level, and if you want to join this community, just make sure you send me an email and I'll do what to add you to the community, but it's going to come at a fee, and we can talk about that, and you can join the community and then we can study the Revit software together. All right, so I'm going to end here and we're going to continue in the next part on how we can actually export certain families or certain types of families we've used in maybe other types of project files, and then we are going to transfer them into this template. All right, so it's going to be an interesting series, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next part. Peace out.
I'm still working real hard on a Saturday. A future I don't see from a mile away.